So I'm Mindy Cairney. This is Jonathan Wylie, and we have a podcast called EdTech Takeout, and we are after this now. This will be our start of our third year. I mean, I work in school years, so year and a half. So it's always weird. So last year we did a live EdTech episode. It's very weird for us to have people like here and looking at us. So we seem awkward. That's definitely the reason.
Yeah.
Right. Are you guys here just to watch and be entertained, or are you interested in podcasting yourselves, or do you have any?
I didn't know what a podcast really was.
Oh, okay. Awesome. All right.
So it's kind of like an internet-based kind of radio show that you can listen to anytime that you want to. You can listen on mobile devices, you can listen on computers, and all that good stuff. So the reason we started it at Grantwood was kind of like to do an on-demand kind of PD for teachers, to give them another way to find another avenue or medium to learn some stuff. So.
I found a lot of teachers are having a hard time getting out of their districts to come and do professional development at our agency. And so we just thought it was an easier way to provide some information for them without them actually having to take a day off or get permission to leave or that kind of stuff.
So our plan for this morning is we're going to start here in just a couple of minutes and start recording. We have a couple of guests scheduled to be here at different points. Whether you want to stick around for those or not, you're welcome to. We have Tammy Lind, who's one of the feature speakers here. She's coming up about 8:30. And if you want to take off with the keynote, you are more than welcome to. I don't think it starts at like 9 or something, but we're having Tony Vincent here at 9 o'clock. If you are interested in talking to him too, I'm sure he'll sign some autographs and do good stuff like that.
It's kind of a big deal. It's exciting.
Kind of a big deal.
Yeah, it's kind of a big deal. So this team, they both are. It's exciting. Yep.
31 of the EdTech Takeout. My name is Jonathan Wylie, and I am joined once again by my co-host and partner in crime, Mindy Cairney. How are you, Mindy?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. We're back at EdTech.
We are back at EdTech, and I believe there'll be no technical difficulties. I'm sure you remember from last year about how my microphone stopped recording, and therefore we had to redo our whole episode of the whole EdTech episode last year.
Yeah, I remember. So we got
Still
it done.
living it down. Yes.
Yeah.
Still living it down.
It's becoming like an annual thing now that we're podcasting at EdTech. So this
Is it annual if it's only the second one?
The second annual podcast at the EdTech conference.
Maybe next year. Let's call it annual.
Yeah.
We're still together by then.
We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, we will. All right, so yeah, EdTech today, and we're super excited because later on in the episode we have Tammy Lind, who is coming to kind of share what she's doing, what she's sharing during EdTech, and also we'll have the one, the only Tony Vincent. Who's going to come and share some cool stuff too. So really honored to have them here at EdTech with us, but like I said, they'll be here a little bit later. So do you want to hop into the main course?
Yeah, so I thought what we start with today is some tips for attending EdTech or educational conferences.
Right.
I noticed that one of the sessions that they had on today actually started at 7:30 today. That was for people who are new to EdTech. Give them an orientation and kind of what to expect and navigation and stuff like that. So maybe we thought we'd jump in with maybe just a few pointers or things that we do when we approach these types of conferences for our own learning.
Right.
We're here for learning too.
Yes, right. Yep. So you've probably attended a lot more EdTech conferences than I have. What would be your top tip? Start.
My first one, I think, is kind of a personal one, I guess, for me, or things that work for me, is that I try and go see something that challenges what I believe or what I like or what I'm interested in, just to try and push me a little bit outside of my comfort zone. And maybe to give you an example, I don't know if it was last year or the year before, but Mike Montero was here for all the gamification stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I ever fully bought into gamification, and I think part of that badging.
Are you bashing badging?
I'm not bashing badging. I'm just saying that I needed some convincing still a little. I think for me personally, I don't know if that was a motivating thing for me or if that would have motivated me to do a whole lot. And
Right.
I have a kid who's just growing out of it, but she was very reluctant to play games if there was a possibility that she would lose.
Oh, I agree with that.
And
Wholeheartedly.
she would rather not. She would rather not play the game than have the possibility of losing the game. Even just things like chutes and ladders. No, not interested because possibility of losing, and so she stayed away from stuff like that. And she's getting better. She's growing out of that stuff. But I think if she was exposed to gamification really early, then I don't think it would have been good for her. She would have found that kind of intimidating or something. So things like that. It's just an example. I try and go see things that will make me think differently about things I already have opinions on.
Yeah.
So, what about you? Do you ever do things like that?
Well, what? Play games that I can't win? No.
Because you're a winner.
I am a winner. No, I would say the biggest thing, and even if you aren't at a conference, but you know that it's going on at the time, is to follow a hashtag on Twitter. And I think that even if you're not a Twitter user, you can just search that hashtag. So you could do hashtag, and the EdTech one is EdTech and just kind of following that, because it's really interesting, I think, to see people's different takeaways. And you obviously can't get to all of the different sessions, but if people are sharing on Twitter their learning or aha moments, it's kind of an easy way to grasp little nuggets from them. And a lot of times presenters share out resources and things like that, so it's a nice way to kind of gather as much information as you can, even if you're not attending. So that's probably my number one tip.
Yeah, and I think, even if you're not attending, because one of the conferences that we like to try and get to in the summer is ISTE, which is a really big conference this year. It's in Chicago. We might have mentioned that once or twice in previous episodes.
Right.
But they even have a hashtag called Not at ISTE.
Right.
And if you're not at ISTE, you can follow along with that hashtag. And it's people talking about things that are related to what's going on at ISTE, but they are just not at ISTE. So,
and sometimes it's just lots of sad faces.
Sometimes it is
sad
just
gifts. Yeah.
Yes. People ruining the fact that they are not there, but not everybody can go to these different conferences or get the opportunity to go. So following the hashtag is a good tip.
Thank you, Wylie.
Yeah. Okay. Another tip I've got is, and this is something I can very much resonate with, and that is to have a good system for taking notes that you can refer back to later in the year, because I guess it doesn't really matter if this is like digital or analog, but some kind of system that you can take notes on the sessions you go to and find them later, because I think finding notes is always a hard thing. I mean, for a while there I was taking notes in Google Docs, and my Google Docs were just like random and all over the place. I couldn't find any of them, and part of that problem was because I didn't organize them and put them into folders and make them with titles that could be searchable. Sometimes it was just untitled doc, and it's like, how many of those do I have in my Google Drive? But
Truth.
Truth, I know, I could do a search for that right now. So you need a system, I think, for taking notes, and that's maybe searchable and easy to refer back to. Whether you're putting those in the 3-ring binder or whether you're putting them in your Google Drive or Dropbox or somewhere else. I personally use OneNote. I think it works well for my system of organization, and I've already got that set up and good to go, so works for me. What do you use?
I am more of an analog note taker, so I like to just jot things down and come back to them. I think it was EdTech last year, I tried to do a little bit of sketchnoting, which is kind of one of my ways of stepping outside the box. So I like to do analog notes, but I'm not real comfortable with drawing and like stuff like that. So it was kind of a way for me to try something new, but also do some note taking. But to add on top of that, I would say, and this wasn't one that I previously thought of until you were saying that, but to travel as lightly to the conference as you can. So like right now in my backpack, I have my iPad and I have my MacBook, which I wouldn't normally do if I wasn't presenting.
Yeah.
So carry as little with you as you can to get by.
Yeah, absolutely. Because as well as that, you've got charging cables, you've got dongles, you've got all kinds of backup stuff that you need just in case because you're presenting. But I'm going to Florida in a week or so, for iNACO, and I'm just planning on taking my iPad because I think that's going to be the easiest and lightest way for me to travel and get around.
Yeah, when I went to South by Southwest last year, the only thing I took was my iPad. I'm like, I'm going to do this. Totally gonna. And the other thing, let me add one more thing, is like one of those battery packs, those rechargeable battery packs.
Ooh, yeah, good save.
You have to have one of those.
Yeah, sometimes when you go to conferences, you go visit the vendor hall people, and sometimes those are given away.
But sometimes they're not.
Yeah.
You can buy a rose gold one from TJ Maxx. FYI. $10.
Speeches. Hashtag speeches.
Yeah.
All right, what else have you got, Mindy?
Let's see.
Well, those battery packs.
Yeah, besides the battery pack, kind of setting a purpose. So I think that, like you had mentioned about something outside the box, or if you have some initiative in your school district, setting a goal for yourself. So let's say my school district is going to standards-based grading. Maybe all of the sessions that I attend revolve somehow around standards-based grading, or I have that lens every time I walk into a session. So if I'm listening about an EdTech tool, how could I share this with other teachers with a standards-based grading lens? So kind of keeping that in the back of your mind so that it doesn't become just a bunch of random tools or information that you've received, but somehow kind of just viewing that through with your purpose in mind. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think a lot of schools will send teachers to places like this with kind of the expectation that they look at it from that kind of view, just to see what new learning and ideas they can uncover when they're here at the conference. Because there's so much going on, you can't see it all, so you have to kind of narrow that down and put some kind of focus or path on your learning for the day. So I think that's a good tip.
Yeah, and if you come across someone that is really inspiring to you, or you really connect with, like, go and meet them after. Go shake their hand and say, hey, you know what I mean? Like, make a connection with them, because for the most part, presenters are really happy to hear, oh, the stuff that I shared really connected with you. So, establish a relationship.
Yeah. Note to self, next time I do meet one of those people, I have to remember to introduce them to Mindy.
Oh, good. I'm glad we're bringing that up.
Yeah?
Yeah. We're going to talk about that later.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Let's shelve that one for now.
Yeah.
Okay, so a couple more tips we have here. One was to make time for personal reflection, because I think that goes back to my other point about taking organized notes and things like that, because if you don't ever look back at these notes and take some time to process what's going on, and the learning you get here is going to be less impactful.
Right.
And it's just good to find some time somewhere in the day. Sometimes I'll go to a conference and I'll sit out of a session just so I get time to look through my notes and unpack a little bit. Because later in the evening when you're getting dinner or going to events and stuff like that, then you get less time for that, and before you know it, it's all lost in the shuffle. So you're taking that learning back to your district, so unpack it a little bit before you get there, and see if you can translate it for people, show them what you learned.
Yeah. I think that kind of was my last thing too, is just that I think it's really important for you to share back in your district. So sharing is caring, and it might not be sharing all the information or even like, creating this PD session for an hour that you share everything that you've learned, but if you're in a leadership position of some sort in your district, you might work with a lot of different teachers and maybe finding one little thing that really kind of resounds with you, like, oh, this would work really well with this teacher, and I'm just going to send them this one little thing and say, hey, don't let me forget that I'm so sorry for having noise. That's my fearless leader, Stacey Beaver. Just making a little appearance on the podcast. But no, so I think it's important to kind of share those things, maybe not everything, but finding a tool that you really think one teacher might use and use effectively, and sitting down with them and kind of talking about your ideas and just sharing.
Okay, so that might be a good point to pause here and bring in Tammy.
Yay, Tammy's here.
We are pleased and excited.
Honored
to welcome to the podcast the one and only Tammy Lynn. How are you, Tammy?
I'm good, thank you.
You want to introduce yourself and tell our listeners a little bit about you and who you are and what you do?
Sure. I'm Tammy Lynn. I'm an instructional coach in the South Milwaukee School District, just outside of Milwaukee. And I work kindergarten through 8th grade mostly, but then sometimes I venture into the high school when they need additional support.
She's
All
my
right.
amazing Minecraft mentor.
Yes, we
I
learned
pretend to
that.
know things about Minecraft. Tammy actually knows things about Minecraft.
Or I go and ask a second grader.
Yes,
and
right?
they help me.
That's right.
So, Mindy, I don't know if you know this or not,
Oh.
but Tammy is no stranger to podcasting.
Oh,
I used to listen to Tammy's podcast way back when.
Yeah.
She used to podcast with a friend of yours.
who's that?
That would be the infamous Chad Kafka.
You used to podcast with Chad
I
Kafka?
did, and Judy Epke and Chad and I had 2 different ones. We had one called Mobile Reach that
Oh.
focused on all mobile technologies, and then we switched over to one called Teacher Tech Talk, I think it was called, and it was neat. We actually had Tony Vincent in. He came in and
yeah.
guest podcasted with us. So it was a lot of fun. It's a lot of work. I give you guys a lot of credit
It's
for
work for
doing
one
this.
of us. Together.
As long as you have someone on the team that does the work.
Yeah,
that's
right.
good, right?
I just read on coattails. We talked about Chad Kafka last night. Did you know that last year for EdTech on the Goose Chase, one of our things, one of the obstacles that you had to attain was you had to tell a joke, and Chad Kafka had to be the punchline?
Yes, he knew that, and he did. Yes,
So fun.
yes.
All right,
He
Tam.
actually teaches about 10 miles from me.
Oh, awesome. Oh. Okay.
Okay.
Jeez, what does that look for?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if would that be Tammy's podcast and Chad's kind of like a sidekick on
I
that?
think so.
Is that how that would go?
I think that's how that works.
Chad likes to
Call me Wylie sidekick.
teach Mindy a little bit, yes.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, Tammy, tell us about what you're doing here at EdTech. What have you got on the cards?
Sure, I have sessions that are pretty googly this time. I'm really, one of my favorites is the arts and culture. And that one I believe is first.
Yes.
I should know that. Yeah, so that is actually at 11:15 today. And if you haven't used the arts and culture, check it out. Actually, there was a major update on Tuesday.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, and I was teaching it Tuesday, so with some teachers, and it looked one way when I taught it, and I went to get ready for this session today, and it looks different. There's just some wording changes along the outside, so there's no projects anymore. But I really enjoy that session. I'm talking about Google Keep, which I think is one of the probably most underutilized Google tools that are out there and available in our domains or school Google accounts. I'm excited about Google Keep because I'm a special educator, and it's such a good organizational tool, so I'm really excited about that one.
So your students have access to Keep too?
We do. We
Good,
use it.
yeah. Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, we use the color coding, we use the location history markers a lot. We're really getting into using the extension and the ability to add it to a doc.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, so that's this afternoon. And then we're doing some expedition and Google Earth and maps and things tomorrow. So
That stuff's always fun. I think it's really popular right now, isn't it? All the expeditions for sure, but the new Google Earth, I haven't spent a whole lot of time
I haven't either,
with the
no.
Google Earth for the web.
Right.
it's beautiful.
Yeah. What kind of things are different or new or exciting on that?
Well, just the fact that it's web-based is a
Right.
huge deal, especially for those of us that are in Chromebook districts or predominantly Chromebook. Just, the look of it is very different, very clean over the installed version of Earth. They have, and I'm drawing a total blank on the projects that they have, so you can go in and you can visit Jane Goodall as she is doing research on gorillas, and they have a whole project based around that. And I'm drawing a blank on the name of it. But they have a lot of those things built in. Tour Builder actually works now with Google Earth. And so if you've never used Tour Builder, that's something you should check out for sure. We'll talk about that in my last session tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah. I think when people think about, like, especially Google Maps and Google Earth and things like that, they think more about social studies and using them in social studies, but you've probably got some ideas for using them a little bit wider than that and more cross-curricular. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, definitely. And I think that is something, kind of a mistake that we make, is that we limit it to social studies and and math skills, and it's so much bigger. I'm really excited about using it for writing and just really getting that in-depth descriptive writing using Earth and expeditions too. We have expeditions in my district. We've been using it. This will be our second year. But I think, it, just like you said, it is so underutilized, and the assumptions always made it's a social studies thing.
Yeah.
It can be used in math, for mapping skills and measuring, and it's pretty neat, and it's just getting better. I think that's what's impressive about it.
I think even like when I think about like some of the read alouds I used to do with my fourth grade class, they'd be talking about places that kids didn't even have a concept of where that was or what that looked like, but just to bring that up on a map and see like a 3D kind of flyover or vision of what that looks like really helps kind of cement some of that learning.
I'm thinking Flat Stanley in my head. Like, wouldn't it be fun to like track your Flat Stanley? People still do Flat Stanley?
Yeah, do they?
I don't know.
I think so.
I
I
hope
think
so, because that would be super fun to
Yeah.
track the route. Where's Flat Stanley today?
Yeah. There's an equivalent kind of project, I think, where there's like a little, I don't know what it is, it's like a soft toy or something.
Yeah.
You send it off to different schools and you take pictures of it in front of the Eiffel Tower or whatever, and you map his journey as he goes around the world, but I don't know what that one's called.
Well, it's just a Flat Stanley spin-off, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Yes,
so.
right.
It's called,
She's
sorry,
got it
it's
going on over there.
I do. It's been bothering me what that was called. It's called Voyager. I apologize.
Voyager.
Yeah, it's
So that's the name of the Jane Goodall project, or
so
what
no,
is
what
Voyager?
Voyager is. It's a whole grouping of projects. So I'm looking at one that says hiking in Honolulu, and then it has street view that you can go and you can actually go on a hike in Honolulu, and it provides all sorts of information on whatever topic you're looking for. It's searchable. It's searchable by topic. It's searchable for education. They have specific education.
So how do you add that in? Because I have shared Tour Builder and stuff. How does that get added into Tour Builder then? What's the...
It just came out. So
Yeah,
Tour
okay.
Builder, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Tour Builder actually when you go to share, you have the option of opening
Of adding up.
Google Earth.
Got
Yeah.
it. I see. Well, that's nice and easy.
Yeah, and that ability just came out recently. One of the fun things in Earth is of course, because it's Google, it's I'm feeling lucky, and it just takes you to a place in the Earth or in the world, and it gives you a description of where you are. And
Nice.
I think what fun for our littles just to put that in and have them describe what they're seeing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, the new Google Earth it's pretty amazing. It's beautiful.
It's fast as well. I just saw you
Yeah.
just jumped straight into
Just
a
hop right in.
national park in Australia there or something. So.
Yeah, it's very, and you can you can bring in my maps, you can have all sorts of different things. You now can actually add on the mobile version 360 imagery. And that I have not played with, but it's just starting.
Yeah, I think it makes sense that we're, in some ways we're moving away from those desktop installed applications. And Google being Google with the power of the cloud that they have, just to harness that and make it work on lots of devices is going to be really useful for schools.
Yeah. So, Team, I have another question for you. Besides those tools, is there anything else that you think teachers should really check out? Is that something else that you're like, oh, this is really neat, or I wish more people knew about this? I hate to put you on the spot like that, but I'm going to.
Yeah. There's so much out there. I think it's hard to make a recommendation. I would say one of the newest things probably is Earth, just off the top of my head.
Yeah, right.
I know that in my school district, we're very much focused on student reflection and feedback. And so we've been venturing down the Seesaw Road.
Seesaw what?
I know, everybody, yeah. We have been using Recap as well. That's made by the creators of Swivel. One thing that I'd love to learn more about is Flipgrid. That's something that I know a lot of people like because you can have more rich discussions.
Yeah.
So while it's not a specific tool, I think one thing that we really, especially for those of us that are fortunate enough to be in a 1-to-1 or a 2-to-1, we really need our kids to be reflecting on their learning,
Right.
and really talking about that metacognitive not, I just knew it because it was in my head. How did I know it? And having our kids verbalize. And I think what's exciting to me is that the technology is allowing even our littlest to do it. They're kind of the forgotten ones, you know, for talking about how they're learning. So that wasn't to dodge the question.
No, you answered it. That was great. No.
No, I think that's a great way of looking at it
Yeah.
because, you know, there was a while, a few years ago, where we were finding tools and thinking, all right, what can I use this for? But now we're thinking, this is a need. Where's the tools I can find to meet that need? And working the other way. So, yeah, I really appreciate that. I think makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that's absolutely.